We're here today to make a very exciting announcement, an announcement about an initiative about funding for higher education in Louisiana, and an initiative to make sure our students are prepared to fill the thousands of jobs coming to Louisiana in the near future. Our higher education institutions have done an incredible job these last 6 years instituting a number of reforms to help more of our students graduate and to move our state forward. For example, we worked with some of these same legislative leaders to implement higher education policy reforms, including Grad Act I and Grad Act II, which provide more flexibility for colleges and universities in return for improved student outcomes. Regents has instituted higher admission standards at colleges and universities, and with these higher standards, we've seen enrollment across our institutions continue to increase. In addition to higher enrollment between 2008 and 2012, the graduation rate for 2-year and 4-year schools combined increased from 37.2% to 41.1%. The graduation rate for 4-year degrees increased from 42.2% to 48.2%. Meaning not only do we have more students enrolled, but our schools are doing even better and our students are doing even better. For the 3rd year in a row, LSU has now announced a record graduation rate, marking almost a 10% increase since just 2010. Let's give the folks at LSU a great round of applause for that accomplishment. These results are a testament to the incredible work of our faculty and students at schools across Louisiana. These reforms are working, but it's time to redouble our efforts. It's also true we're in the middle of an economic renaissance in the state of Louisiana. Since 2008, we have announced economic development wins totaling more than 80,000 new jobs, more than $50 billion in private capital investment. Because of these job wins, more people are now employed than any point in Louisiana's history. Tens of thousands of new jobs are in the pipeline, and they must be filled. Our next challenge is to ensure we have the skilled workforce to fill these jobs of the future. You've heard from economists who have recently said they have never seen an industrial expansion like the one underway in Louisiana. But they've also warned that we've got to do a better job training skilled workers that will be needed to fill the demand for jobs at the major industrial and high-tech projects coming to Louisiana. We now have tens of thousands of jobs in the pipeline that must be filled, and we must ensure we have the skilled workforce to fill these jobs of the future. And that's why our top priority not only in this session but going forward, must be making sure we have the resources to prepare our students and train them for the jobs of the future. In order to help meet this goal, our budget for the next fiscal year will increase state general funding for higher education and increase total higher education funding by $141.5 million, a 6.6% increase over last year. That would bring total funding for higher education to $2.3 billion. I want to talk today about one specific component of that. The funding that I've announced will also include a new higher education workforce incentive fund of $40 million that will better prepare Louisiana students to compete in the new global economy. Now, a few months ago, I sat down with our system heads, our higher education leaders, and said, look, we have brought thousands of jobs to Louisiana. And even before we knew what the new budget would look like, I asked them this. I said, if you had new money, how would you reinvest it to make sure we have the qualified workforce to take those jobs? And this is an important point. I've made the point that as we grow our economy, as we increase our revenues, we're not simply going to put money into old programs. We've made many efficiencies and many gains over these last few years, but we're going to invest these dollars in programs with accountability that deliver the best results for our students. And I want to commend our system leaders because we gave them this challenge and they went and worked together. And they produced some very specific plans. One of the things they emphasized, they came up with a very innovative plan. The $40 million in the incentive fund is now going to be spent according to the plan they've come up with. It'll be made available to state research institutions that produce nationally recognized commercial research, and also to state colleges and universities that partner with private industry to produce graduates with high-demand degrees and certificates and enable them to link their coursework to industry needs and projected workforce demands. This fund will be called the Workforce and Innovation for a Stronger Economy Fund, or the WISE Fund. It will strengthen the critical linkage between college coursework and employment needs in our state. And this is how the fund is going to work. The funds will be made available to state research institutions that produce nationally recognized commercial research and to state colleges and universities that produce graduates with 4- and 5-star job-ready degrees. This performance-based formula rewards and incentivizes the degrees that occupational forecasting and industry have shown are the most employable and the most in demand. Now, to receive these funds, institutions will partner with private industry by recruiting at least a 20% private match in cash or in kind, such as technology and equipment. And I want to thank not only Lobby and Stephen, but the other representatives of the business community for also working with our higher education institutions to help meet the workforce needs not only of today, but tomorrow as well. Each institution will present a business plan that will demonstrate how the funds will be invested to reach the number of degrees we need as a state to fill the jobs we have now and in the next few years. Every year, each institution will be held accountable for reaching their goals to produce those degrees. Using data-driven predictive modeling with actual numbers from business and industry, we figured out how to predict how many and what level of degrees we need to meet workforce demand. First, we took the list of fields for which we have the biggest demand. Secondly, we differentiated between non-specialist jobs like general managers and degree or certificate-specific jobs that require expertise in a particular field like engineers and computer scientists. Third, we figured out how many managers versus assistants, engineers versus engineering technicians, for example, we needed in each one. Fourth, we mapped those positions onto the degree and certificate programs that produce qualified workers to take them. Fifth and finally, we figured out how many of each high-demand degree or certificate we were producing and how many we actually needed. That delta, that difference, is what drives this investment fund to ensure that we are producing the degrees we need to employ our children tomorrow. This collaboration between LED, Economic Development, Louisiana Workforce Commission, and the leaders of higher education have created a targeted investment strategy that spends dollars on the degrees we need to take the jobs that companies are creating in Louisiana. These partnerships are already in the work at our colleges and universities. For example, IBM has entered into a partnership with LSU's School of Engineering. As part of IBM's project in downtown Baton Rouge, LSU committed to triple its computer science graduates in 5 years, placing the LSU computer science program in the top 10 to 15 nationally for the number of BS degrees in computer science awarded nationally. The college will also expand its computer science programs and curriculum innovation as LSU students will benefit from internship opportunities and more jobs upon graduation, keeping the best and brightest in our state. In the UL system, LED recently partnered with UNO and GE Capital for the creation of the GE Capital Software Engineering Apprenticeship Program. By the end of 2015, GE Capital plans to hire 40 UNO students enrolled in the computer science program in apprentice positions. This program provides students at UNO with specialized training, experience, and mentorship opportunities which will set them apart from other graduates. Up in the northern part of our state at Bipsey Bossier Parish Community College recently received a $750,000 investment from Encana Oil and Gas and Shell E&P to create an oil and gas production technology program. In New Orleans, Delgado partnered with 45 regional manufacturing and construction firms such as Latrim, Cornerstone, Shell, and Bollinger, in addition to UNO, Southeastern, and Nichols, to produce 1,500 qualified graduates over 4 years for the booming manufacturing sector. Here in Baton Rouge, Southern University recently partnered with Genesis Energy to create a $100,000 scholarship fund, invest $25,000 in Southern civil and engineering labs, and help Southern ensure its curricula were aligned with the workforce needs of Genesis, among other things. These type of partnerships make clear that here in Louisiana, we are committed to making this state the best place to work and to raise a family. We started with ethics reform. We then overhauled our workforce development system. We eliminated burdensome taxes on businesses. We reformed K-12 education over the last 5 years. We are now in a position where our economy has grown by leaps and bounds and has made it possible to make the announcement we're making today. The state is in its best fiscal position since the start of the recession, the national recession in 2008. We now have the great challenge of meeting the demand for a skilled workforce that has never existed in Louisiana before. It's a challenge, but I know we can do it. And again, I want to thank our higher education leaders. You're now going to hear from many of them. One of the most exciting things, we'll be talking later this week about other parts of the budget and other things we'll be doing. I think one of the most exciting things we'll be doing is this $40 million investment in higher education to help us meet the workforce needs of our growing economy here in Louisiana. What it really translates into is not only better research on our campuses and better training and instruction in our classrooms. What it really translates into is a better future for our sons and daughters. It means our children can graduate, pursue their dreams right here in Louisiana. It's great every time we break another record and bring another major economic development win to our state. Today's announcement will help translate those wins into a better quality of life for Louisiana's sons and daughters. We're thrilled we're able to make these investments in higher education so we can ensure our workers are prepared to fill the influx of thousands of new jobs will be available in our state in the years to come. And again, I do want to thank the leaders. They've been working together of higher education. They've been working with Kurt and Stephen for the last several months to come up with this program. They've done a great job. You're now going to hear from some of these leaders. The first person you're going to hear from is, again, the president of our host institution, King Alexander, and then Sandra, Ron, Dr. May, Bubba is going to come up, and then I'm going to invite others to come up and speak as well. So please give a great LSU welcome to your very own King Alexander.
Thank you, Governor Jindal, and thank you all for coming on this important day. I'd also like to recognize Jason Drody and our team that has been working diligently for the last 3 months and pulling people together, putting all this together with us, as well as many others, and our board members that have followed every step of the way. More importantly, I'm very, very appreciative to the governor for adopting higher education and adopting this request and for working closely with the higher education leaders to prioritize higher education in this upcoming budget session. We all appreciate this and know how important we are to the future of Louisiana. And I think you see the commitment of all of us behind me today and those throughout the state to ensuring that we are a part of every discussion regarding economic development and social welfare in this state. We also appreciate the leadership and concern for the future of higher education and our students by both our co-authors of our bill, Senate President John Alario and Speaker Chuck Cleckley. They have been with us every step of the way, numerous meetings with them. They have expressed their concern on what we're going to do together to build Louisiana. Along with Representative Stephen Carter and Senator Appel have also met with us numerous times on this very important topic. I'm also very thankful to the collaborative effort to include higher ed as an essential component of future economic development, which is a first for us in Louisiana, apparently. And thanks to the help of Stephen Moray and Kurt Isink, who also been in our meetings for the last 2.5 months and been with us every step of the way, we greatly appreciate your efforts, your leadership, and your collaboration with us. The Workforce and Innovation for a Stronger Economy WISE Fund is part of a national trend of performance-related funding. But where it stands at the forefront of national trends is the fact that it is tying our current state needs and workforce demands to what we're able to produce and graduate as institutions of higher education. This couldn't happen at a better time for our students to graduate with top, high-degree, high-demand fields of study and careers waiting for them. Because right now, also, something that most don't seem to take into account, student indebtedness has become a national issue that's not going away. Student indebtedness exceeds $1 trillion 2 years ago as this nation's second leading debt, only behind mortgage loans, exceeding that of credit card debt. And I'm pleased to say that not only are our students going to enter the workforce with high-demand jobs, careers waiting for them, but Louisiana ranks third in the amount of student indebtedness, the third lowest in the country, and 10th lowest in the percentage of our students graduating with debt. So not only are we getting a good career start in the workforce for our graduates, but they're starting out not saddled with the type of debt that many of their colleagues have been saddled with nationwide. As for LSU, we're also supportive of outcomes-based measures, such as the WISE plan. The outcomes-based approach will lead to investment in numerous degree fields at LSU, such as engineering, computer science, business, medicine, and many other health-related fields, of which we need very, very badly in Louisiana. The plan also rewards research productivity, an important component for driving innovation, driving new jobs, bringing in economic development from outside the state. We also know that investments in higher education have important economic and societal benefits that will enable our state to meet the expanding workforce demands of today and in the years to come. Recognizing that higher education has become the essential component to future economic growth and stability is absolutely critical. This is why this partnership with our governor, this partnership with our legislative leadership is the first step to ensuring that our colleges and universities not only be recognized, but are provided essential investment funding as a foundational element for economic growth and prosperity for all citizens of Louisiana. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you my good colleague and good friend and partner in this process as we go forward, President of the University of Louisiana System, Dr. Sandra Woodley. Sandy.
This visionary plan is not about higher education. It's not about any one of our colleges. It's not about any of our universities. As the governor said, this plan is about Louisiana. It is about the future of Louisiana. It's about the future that we want Louisiana to have 20 years from now. We believe that this inaugural investment in the WISE plan will mark the beginning of a 20-year march towards a Louisiana future that we can all be proud of, a future that our children and our grandchildren can also be proud of, a Louisiana that is nationally competitiveness in every single aspect. Achieving this vision will require a sustained and a long-term commitment with these investments, and it will require an unprecedented coordination and collaboration among the systems and also with workforce and economic development. We are committed to this. In fact, higher education has always been committed to this. It is what we do, economic development. Our high-quality graduates and our innovative research truly does provide the foundation for a stronger economy. And it is also urgent that we increase the pace. We have to be able to forge even deeper connections between our work and the demands of a growing and exciting Louisiana economy. Governor Jindal, we applaud your leadership. We applaud your support of the WISE plan. I am also appreciative of an exciting and growing coalition between our partners in the other systems, the Board of Regents, our friends in the legislature, the Office of Economic Development, and the Workforce Commission. It is not an understatement to say that we would not be here today presenting this plan were it not for many, many hours of work and coordination and collaboration and efforts of this very important coalition. On behalf of our 9 universities, I pledge to you, Governor Jindal, that the University of Louisiana system is deeply committed to making this vision a reality.
About this. I think this puts us ahead of the rest of the country in terms of not only investing in higher education, but tying that investment to the needs of our economy and our workforce. Louisiana has had the top-rated workforce training program now for 4 years in a row in Louisiana Fast Start in Stephen Moray's shop. It's been a great competitive advantage. This builds on that successful work. This investment links our universities. When you think about it, it links our universities to LWC and our 4- and 5-star jobs, and links them also to LED in terms of the jobs that are going to be in greatest demand and offer the best pay right here in Louisiana. And very specifically, it incentivizes our schools, our 2-year schools, our 4-year schools, our research institutions to meet the needs of companies that are growing here, companies that want to come here. So I think this sends a great message to the rest of the country that we have cut taxes in Louisiana, revamped our workforce training programs, and now we're investing even more dollars in an innovative program to meet the needs of a growing economy. To the students, I know we had some students here earlier and still some here today. To them, what it means is that we're investing not only in their education, but we're investing in making sure their education prepares them for good-paying jobs right here at home, so they don't have to leave Louisiana to pursue their dreams. I think that's what makes today so powerful. Not only is it an investment in higher education, it's an investment in meeting the needs of our economy and preparing our kids for these good-paying jobs. And I do want to thank, and you heard Bubba say this, I want to thank the faculty, the administrators, and others who have not only made our higher education, you heard me rattle off some statistics about graduation rates, retention rates, and other successes. They've worked so hard to make our campuses so successful. They're going to be the ones that work so hard to make this new fund successful as well and helping to grow our economy.
We're all excited. We're excited about the coalition between workforce, economic development, and higher education. We think this is a step forward for the competitive Louisiana that we're all chasing.
Your reaction when the governor actually made the announcement?
Well, you know, we've been working really hard with the governor's staff and with the governor and with our key legislators and our friends in economic development. So my reaction was one of great gratitude for this. I think it's going to be really important for us in this state moving forward.
Give us an idea on how the universities in the University of Louisiana system will be able to utilize this $40 million WISE fund.
Well, as you know, there's a growing demand for the graduates that we produce, and in particular fields, you know, and even urgent demand for many of our graduates. And so we're working really hard to make sure, and this money will allow us to leverage that, to go out and get private support for these really high demand programs and to be able to ramp those up significantly. It's an important investment in the University of Louisiana system's ability to capitalize on this new economy.
I think it's a very strategic move to help with workforce and job placement in our state by investing targeted areas that have high demand, that will respond to the workforce needs of the new businesses that have been investing in Louisiana. So it's a smart way to grow higher education. It's a smart way to invest the dollars that you have. We've been involved in public-private partnerships, University of Louisiana Lafayette, for decades now. In fact, last year we were ranked in the top 10 in the United States as far as research dollars coming from public partnerships with private entities and companies. So this is right up our alley. I think it's a very smart way to invest new monies in higher ed, and we're looking forward to it.
This is a great day for Nicholls State. I think that what it's going to do is to have us even be more focused on the workforce and the needs of the region and be responsive to them. We've got some great programs that already do that, and this will help us to continue that effort. It's so important that we live up to the wishes and desires of the workforce, because that's where all of our graduates wind up going. And so that's what we want to do. We want to be serving their needs and the needs of the people of Louisiana.
It means a great deal for us because we have an engineering program, the only one in the greater New Orleans area. So this allows me to invest money in a program to hire faculty and equipment and maintain the equipment so we can give more opportunities for students.
It's just really a good first step. We're a long ways from recovery, but you have to take that first step, and we appreciate the governor understanding that it's time that higher ed begin to rebuild as we're moving in that direction.
The $40 million that we also have an opportunity to compete for in a systematic way, developing our own plans to support the academics of the institution. So this is an exciting day for Grambling. I think if we can keep this kind of thing going, Louisiana would definitely be benefited from this kind of planning together as we saw there this morning.
Well, I think there are a lot of opportunities presented with the proposal that the governor discussed today. Southeastern has some really great partnerships with businesses and industry in the region, and this is going to give us an opportunity to work even more closely and try to make sure that our programs are aligned with workforce needs. So these are things that we're already doing, and hopefully this will allow us to just do even more of it and be better at it.
It's a signal day for higher ed. I don't want to use the cliche, we've turned the corner, but certainly different things are happening because there's revenue for the state of Louisiana. And since that is happening, it's going to impact higher ed. This is a great announcement. It's a grand example of collective effort, of very good leadership, humble leadership, egos all parked at the door. And that's very satisfying to me because it gives me hope and renewed spirit.
You've got both the 6% increase and the $40 million WISE fund benefiting higher education.
Well, it's a new day. So I'm extremely happy about that, and as are the systems. And it'll produce instant results. That's what's so great.